He did not come in the dawning, he did not come at noon. And out of the tawny sunset, before the rise of the moon, when the road was a gypsy's ribbon, looping the purple moon, a red coat troop came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door. But they said no word to the landlord, they drank his ale instead, but they gagged his daughter and bound her to the foot of the narrow bed. Two of them knelt at her casement, with muskets at their side. There was death at every window, and hell at one dark window, for Bess could see, through her casement, the road that he would ride. They had her tied up to attention with many a sniggering jest. They bound a musket beside her, with the muzzle beneath her breast. Now keep good watch, they kissed her. She heard the doom man say, look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way. She twisted her hands behind her, but all the knots held good. They writhed, she writhed her hands till her fingers were wet with sweat or blood. They stretched and strained in the darkness, and the hours crawled by like years, till now on the stroke of midnight, cold on the stroke of midnight, the tip of one of her fingers touched it. The trigger, at least, was hers. The tip of one finger touched it. She strove no more for the rest. Up she stood to attention with the muzzle beneath her breast. She would not risk their hearing, she would not strive again, for the road lay bare in the moonlight, blank and bare in the moonlight, and the blood of her veins in the moonlight throbbed to her love's refrain. Tlot tlot, tot tlot, had they heard it? The hoofs, horse hoofs ringing clear, tlot tlot, tot tlot in the distance. Were they deaf that they did not hear? Down the ribbon of moonlight, over the brow of the hill, the highwayman man came a-riding, riding, riding. The redcoats looked to their priming. She stood up straight, and shrill. Still, tlot tlot in that frosty silence, tlot tlot in that echoing night. Nearer he came, and nearer. Her face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for a moment. She drew one last deep breath. Her finger moved in the moonlight. Her musket shattered the moonlight, shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned him with her death. He turned, he spurred to the west. He did not know who stood bowed, with her head o'er her musket, drenched with her own blood. Not till the dawn he heard it, and his face grew grey to hear how Bess, the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight, and died in the darkness there. Back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with the white road smoking behind him, and his rapier brandished high. Blood were his spurs in the golden noon, wine red was his velvet coat, when they shot him down on the highways, down like a dog on the highway, and he lay in his blood on the highway with a bunch of lace at his throat. And still of a winter's night, they say, when the wind is in the trees, and when the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, when the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, a highwayman comes a-riding, riding, riding. A highwayman comes a-riding up to the old inn door. Over the cobbles he clatters and clangs in the dark inn yard. He taps with his whip on the shutters, but all is locked and barred. He whistles a tune to the window, and who should be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. Good morning, my friends. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you in Europe, and good afternoon or good evening to everyone else. My doorbell just rang. How lovely. That was part 2 of the Highwayman. This, of course, is your morning financial show for you or over in the States. For my Asian friends, it is, of course, evening time. Good evening. And to Australians, I suppose it's nighttime and whatnot. I really don't know. Not very good at old world clock. Good to see you, L. Baker Matthews, Ghost of Dan Ernst, Janet, the Ghost of Homer's Ghosts, and Joe Maxwell Nacho, everybody else that's in the chat there as well. Jeff, Kim, Sagas. Hey, who's that? Good to see you. Nice to meet you, my friend. Ben, Nacho, everybody else, Sal. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, y'all. I hope you're doing well. That's a lovely poem that I read out, isn't it? It's pretty dark and romantic and really lovely. It's not the easiest to read off a screen. Right. So, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining me. We're going to be doing all the stuff we usually do in a bit of a more condensed time. A bit late starting today. Tis what it is. Oh, my doorbell again. Hold on. Hello? Oi! The landlord's daughter. Bess! The landlord's daughter, hey? Right. Well, that was good. I thought that was nice. Hope you enjoyed it. It was just a bit different. I thought I'd give you something a little bit different, hey? I like stuff that's a bit different. So, yeah, we're going to be doing all the usual stuff that we usually do, as usual. Nice and usual, like. Here's the chart. Actually, no, that's totally not the chart, because look at me. I'm massive on there. Let's just change this up a little bit so that I'm not so massive on the screen, covering it all up. Boom. There's the chart. There's my face as well. Been being 2 for 1. How's that? Can't get better than that, can you? Right. So we'll be talking about these things. That's like AHT up there behind me. And good to see you. Hiya. And we'll be doing all that stuff. So get any requests in that you want to have looked at fairly sharpish, like, and when we decided what people want to have a look at, I'll shrink my screen down so that it's not taking up the entire thing. Cheers, Rocky. Hope you're feeling well. Thanks as always, says Nathan. Alec, thanks so much, mate. Hey, trade spotting.
Haha, I'm half filling up.
Yes. Yeah, nice one. You're very echoey, Rocky Outcrop. I'm very echoey. Oh, I am. Oh, piss. Has it been like that? It's been like that the entire time. Ah, well, I suppose that might not have been so bad for the whole poem section. The audio trading gang has been checking out this new one. Can you have a look, please? BWXT on NYSE. 130% institutional ownership. I don't know what that emoji is there. That's cool. What is that? Is that a sun behind clouds, kind of looking a bit different? Hey, thanks, sir. Oh, aye, echo. Cool. Well, sorted the echo out. Great, nice one. Echo started after you switched scenes after poem. Okay then. Yep, only since the poem stopped. That's all good. We're great. We're great. We're great. We're great. Well, that's cool. The reason I read that, one of the reasons I read that out, is because it's my mammy's favourite poem. It's like not one of the reasons I read it. It's just one of the reasons I know it. It's a good one, isn't it? Right. Good to see you, Jamie. Nope, don't have any coffee. Don't have anything with caffeine in it in the house other than what's inside this thing here. Because I'm a caffeine-free man. Actually, that's complete lies. I've got a KT C4 biscuit thing. Right, yeah. Okay, cool. Salamander, she said BWXT. Let's make me a bit smaller so I don't take so much of our screen and real estate up. Where am I? How do I touch how do I touch myself? Is that what I wanted to say? I think it is. There's me touching myself there. Nice. Right. Excellent. Uh-huh. Okay. Doki. Right. So BWXT. BWXT. BWX Technologies Incorporated. Oh, BWX. What could that be? What could that be? The Road Was a Ribbon of Moonlight. Yeah, absolutely. Andy Irvine played musical version for her in River 20 plus years ago. That's so cool. That's so nice. That's Dad chatting about that. Aye, nice to see you, Dad. Hope you're well. So everybody, by the way, shout out to you all. This is the Black Friday deal. Remember, I do Trade View. I use Trade View. I'm an official Trade View partner these days, which is pretty cool. It's a promotion in terms of the old recognition of me being awesome in this world. Here's the link. I'm just gonna just say Trading View link. This is the cheapest time of the year to sign up to. I'll be promoting this thing all year, all the time. Now, really, in a sense, because in a sense, it's kind of sponsored by them in a sense to do so. But this is the time to get it. It's the time to get it, and you can get as many of them as you want. You can't though, because you can keep stacking them on top of your what you call it, current subscription. Get as many days as you like. Casey Hansen says, I did the DDs on BWXT and potentially insane company. Huge insider ownership and massive government contracts, right? Massive government contracts, huge insider ownership, 130% insider or institutional ownership. How do you go about getting 130% ownership of a company again? Like, yeah. Okay, but still, it doesn't. It's an interesting one, isn't it? I'm not going to discuss it. Just kind of put that question out there. There's a weird dynamic. Weird dynamic. Weird dynamic. We can Google for like, how does an institution? I know. I just want to know what the current narrative is on it. I mean, we talk about the same thing on GME and everything else, but we talk about it from a sort of slightly different perspective and all that. We know about rehypothecation and everything else. I just want to know what the current narrative. Doesn't really matter. We can. I just want to know what the zeitgeist is about that. That's all. Right. Oh, good to see you, Darth Vivanna. Nice to see you in here. Nice to see you, Pineapple Head. Wow, I wouldn't imagine having a pineapple for a head, man. Imagine that. Rocky Outcrop, is there a link so you're identified as the Le Referrers? Yes, it is. There is. Thanks so much for asking, Dad. It happens to be pinned in this chat at the top there. You'll see it. Trading View link. That's it. Up there. That's the one to use. Use. Right, cool. BWXT. So what we're looking for here is something positive. Right? We're looking for something positive over here on this one. Just want to see if there's anything. This is the 5-minute chart, so I'm not getting like the masses of data to see it. Let's go up for the 24-hour chart and see. So yeah, we've been trading trending towards the top side mostly in a sense. We've got this kind of funny-ish sort of shape on here. Not massively compelling, but it's there in terms of the downward angle and here in terms of the upward angle. So huge range on this one potentially for it to travel between. Looking back the way, we can also identify a couple little easy to point out factors here in terms of the horizontal, like in there somewhere in around about that region there is Juan, and in here somewhere around about that region there's Juan as well, or Dos I should say, yes, or Segundo. So if that is the case, mad long-term targets then. Go on, buddy. What are we talking here? Roughly up towards $100. That's not that mad. We're at $60 at the minute. What about down the way, down here? This is the linear chart I'm using, by the way, at the minute. 1254. It makes it easier to look at that in terms of like the absolute value movement aspect of things, So like huge. So nothing jumping at us in terms of smaller time frames or flashes to come back down and fill. And if we were to go towards the top side, how have we really been doing here? Even though obviously these are not higher. Just look and see if there's any hidden bearish divergence, on these highs, which it doesn't seem to be the case. So that's good to see. Little thing that I'm just doing there, just looking to see if there's any hidden bearish divergence. Just because these are lower on the highs. Now these highs are lower, so it's not obviously trending. It's gone kangaroo on it. All right, good day, mate. Good day, mate. Hoppy. So well, that's the bigger, broader picture, right? Sideways in this track. Here's the lower end. We've got kind of 2 for 1 at the moment with this lower, with the horizontal towards the lower side here coming in and giving us that support at the same time as around about where that diagonal line is. If I just pop it onto the logarithmic chart, kind of measure from the highs up there to these lows down here and drag this over, just to kind of have a look and see how where the overall Fibs are. BWXT. This is. Oh, I forgot. Sal asked me about this, and I keep forgetting. And Sally asked me about the thingy here. Where's my appearance here? Where's the watermark? I wanted my watermark. I don't know why I got rid of that before. It wasn't intentional. Do we make it a color? Right, we'll make it green and everything. It's a bit distracting, isn't it? Actually, we'll just keep it as a sort of grey. Keep it as grey. Okay, cool. So, yeah, BWX technologies. BMXs are better than BWXs, by the way, just for everybody's knowledge out there. Much cooler. So this is just, I just wanted to kind of, what I wanted to do there was just look at that versus the horizontals I'd already drawn in, just to see if there was any distinct difference between them, and there isn't. Then I wanted to go down to a smaller time frame here and check in on the last few months of price action as opposed to the other ones. Oh, look at that, these things. Keys, right? I do, here ish, this region, somewhere within my vicinity, ish presently. Right, so that's so yes, okay, cool. So this still shows us the overall consolidation phase, which has been happening, I guess, since April 2018. This isn't like a brand new company. Has this whole thing been like a couple of years long accumulation play? I don't know. Fundamentals on this obviously not really leading the way in terms of the trading. All right, I appreciate that you did your due diligence, pal, and it's good that you guys talking about these things. Really is good to know these kind of fundamental aspects about the company that we're looking at. I think it's fair to say that another fundamental of this thing is that it's been trading sideways for 3 years inside a huge range. So so you know, when you're doing your DDs, I guess a part of that due diligence would be, rather than to look at any sort of given snapshot of the fundamentals, but instead to kind of look at how those fundamentals have changed over time. So what you'd be encouraged to therefore do is to look at where things were in June 2018 and where things are now in September 2021. Because really, if you're going to be using fundamentals, you're using them for one, like there's limited use cases, and as they kind of become known to us, we'll talk about them. So so one of the ones that came known to us not that long ago was the use case of, is it completely banjaxed or not? Right, that's great use case for fundamentals. You know, you're looking at a company, the charts are saying it's been going down for a long time. The prices, you know, going down for a long time. Everybody thinks it's banjaxed. You look at the fundamentals and you think, you know what? Despite the fact that this company's price-wise is almost banjaxed, it's not actually a banjaxed company. And even if this stock went to like 0, they'd be fine. What's the problem here? So you've got that. And then you've got other fundamentals that we talked about recently are things like, well, is it a Chinese company that's, you know, only really got these problems because of recent rule changes to do with global, to do with how they run their economy and what they're looking to achieve out of it, as opposed to what they're looking to destroy out of it, and those sorts of questions. There's other fundamentals like the DWAC fundamentals of, this is a political stock and has more emotions associated with it, which is going to be a permanent aspect of that stock. So, well, I mean, at least for the next 20 years. So what do you, so those are fundamental things, and those fundamental things don't necessarily change an awful lot, right? But then there's the other aspect of it, is like, how much ownership is there of it, and blah, 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 blah. And, well, how much institutional ownership of it was there in 2018? How much was there in towards the end of 2018? How much was there at the end of 2018? How much was there at the midpoint of 2019? And how much was there at the highs of 2020? Do you know the answer to those things? If you don't know the answer to those things, then I would invite you to explain to me what the point of knowing what the answer of it is now, specifically. What does it mean to know that now, specifically? And that's one of the funny things that people don't really kind of get. It makes a lot of sense the way I'm saying it now. I'm sure everybody's following along. Dead easy. Makes a lot of sense, right? But did you think about that before? It's kind of like it's one of these things. Now, yeah, so anyway, that's good to know, right? Similar to how people think that the price in and of itself at any given moment is somehow representative of the long-term value of the company, or represents, the price of the company or whatever. When we know clearly that price is a ribbon in the moonlight, as much as it is a single thing. And that really is to do with so much more, like the price of anything. So we know here. So, right. So cool. Done that part. Zoom on in a wee bit more. See what we've got kicking about for us here in the TA on the recent times. Right. So, bearing in mind that, like, on the way down from 67 to 57 to 50, which is like chunk, and is represented in terms of the value of this thing, a drop in a quarter of its value. That institutional ownership, was it really high there when it was worth, more than it is now? And now that it's worth a quarter of what it was worth then, it's gone down 25% from what it was worth over there. 25% loss of the thing. It's lost 25% of its value as the institutional ownership changed. And in which case, what value does that information present to us, right? If it was constant throughout the 3 years versus if it had changed throughout so who's doing the fundamental analysis on that front? Has it been done? Or has the fundamental analysis been done as a means of convincing oneself that they're in a good trade, more than in a way of actually analyzing the stock? And when you think about it, 99.999% of anybody who does fundamental analysis, including those who work at these institutions themselves, do not actually think about it correctly. And it's shockingly surprising when you put it into that context, isn't it? So there we have it. And yeah, so you could obviously be in a bit of a wedge here, blah, and blah. That angle at the top end is very, 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 very steep. So bear that in mind, even when I zoom on in and it looks less steep as I do so, because that's why I told you to bear that in mind. And then this is obviously placed wrongly, but who really cares? This is placed wrongly as well, but also, again, who really cares about that? And then where are we going trend-wise down here? We came in here with no bullish divergence. We're in bearish conditions on the chart. We've been rejected at the top end of that, just pushing past the neutral line on the RSI, back down again, rejected there. Yeah, we might see some capabilities of this thing turning around, in terms of like getting fairly steep down here in the stochastics, with the potential to be starting to put in sort of bullish divergence. Looking back over to the left, you can see that, while there's been moments of it, it's not done anything for, it actually wasn't bullish divergence there, was it? So, well, it's just really not been that divergent. Okay, so that's bullish divergence just there. So we got some bullish divergence, right? Like, ooh, look, there it is. Ooh, there it is. Not that great. So yeah, but anyway, we could totally turn around. I wouldn't be wanting to buy this until, well, I suppose we're talking like not massive amounts of moves here, but there's a couple of percent in it, and it's worth taking down there at 49.89. If I was to gives me an opportunity to manage my risk in a way, which doesn't mean I need to eat a couple of percent just and sit there, feeling like I'm doing it because I'm lazy, as I actually then ultimately put in 10 times more work just sitting there being stressed out as I watch something move 2%. It's good to have a handle of your own psychology as to how things really go when you're convincing yourself that you're just taking it easy, when actually what you're doing is you're injecting stress directly through your eyeballs into your brain. So then you've got that, and then you've got so I would probably wait. Is there anything that's like great about this stock? Well, yeah, there is. There's the fact that it spent since April until now tanking, and it has a history of going up the way, at some point when it gets down towards this region, and maybe sometime in the next couple of months we get a decent trade out of this thing that goes long way up the way, perhaps going to one of those targets that we had earlier on. We talked about the thing potentially going up about 40 to 50% from the highs in here at 68. Could go up as high as 110 or something like that we were looking at. So we've got all of that on the go. We've also got this little move that could happen here, roughly that sort of size, which could take us up towards around about the 618 golden pocket again, where we'd be happy to fail. It could take us down the way. We could do 60% of the move and move down towards where our line is, but that line we know is not drawn in perfectly accurate, so it could be that the line's supposed to be there or whatever. You'd have to work that out, I guess, on your own time. So there's those things, right? There's those things. What more do we want out of this thing? It's cool, excellent. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? My naked buy order at 59 didn't get filled. I'm so pissed off it. Naked. Let's have a wee quick look at naked. It is naked. Look at this. This is naked. This is what naked sell here. They sell smoothies. That's what this company does. No, I'm just kidding. They sell bras. They sell bras and electric vehicle charging points or something like that. Great, isn't it? That's what you want from your company. It's what I want from my companies anyway. Smoothies. Ooh. The prices dropped down, and they went down as low as over here at 58.19, 0.5819. Oh my goodness, and pushed all the way back up to 65. Oh wow, that's cool. Well done, Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, obviously your order didn't get filled. I'm not congratulating you on that aspect of things. But I am saying well done on the TA or whatever that got you to putting that order in there at that point. Or maybe I should be saying well done, Jamie, if it was his stream that gave you the targets or something like that. Might be. So well done, trade spotting. And nice. Look at that thing. Looks lovely. I love the look of this. Whoosh up. Whoosh. And the overall move from there to there. Nice. Look at that thing. Okay, look, it's fulfilled a lot of its pricing duty, you could say, without having done it in the way that looks like typical. It's nice. It's a nice like these rounding off bombs with severe rises up and then the rounding downs and that severe drop down there gives you a shape which is kind of unusual to see on a chart, and that's nice to see it. So it's different. See what I mean there with that kind of like wee, more like look like that way around. That would look great, wouldn't it? But it's that way instead, sadly. The thing is that yeah, this is good. It's back at support. This is the get your fingers burned early in the mornings technical analysis that gets forgotten about by people. Not lots of people would like to have played the momentum towards the downside here, saying we're coming in pre-markets have got this or not pre-markets. It wasn't pre-market, was it, that did this to us? This all happened first thing in the morning. Wonder would it? Let's just look at extended hours real quick. Extended hours, yeah. So this thing here with its noise in the opening the time before we started. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Resulting in that crap. So yeah, right. There's something that you can do, by the way, if you're interested. If you see these big moves and then actually the markets managed to open up somewhere half decent. Let's just look. Yeah, open up somewhere half decent, pump that. Oh no, that wasn't pre-market. That just looked like it was pre-market. It wasn't pre-market. Where did it drop down in pre-market? 63. Yeah, fine. Right, it wasn't pre-market, but it was just opening trading session. Fine, whatever. Yeah, anyhow, right, gap and back up to fill the gap. Better play mostly than looking for continuation after extreme moves if you don't have like the follow through volume. This candle here, 15-minute time frame. I think this candle here is very revealing. You're looking at candle type ideas, you know. It's like it's one thing to say, oh yeah, this is a doji. This is a doji. Dojis mean like indecision. Think about this in terms of the context, right? The markets have opened up. They've dumped down. They've moved what from 63 down to 58 in the space of minutes, mere minutes. And then we tick over here and we spend 15 minutes unable to get any follow through and continuation, with the volume during that 15 minutes representing half of the volume that was in the previous 15 minutes. And you're thinking to yourself, well, in situations where I'm looking for continuation to play the momentum towards the down or top side in the initial opening periods of the market, what I'm going to be looking for is nice volume and follow through, you know, and it's not there. So then what happens is you're looking and you're saying, well, there's a gap up above us. Maybe we go up there and kiss it right here, right now, right? Maybe that's more likely. Boom, that's what happened. Nice. Well, unfortunately, Jiu-Jitsu, you didn't get your order. You're going to have to, you can take that up with your broker if you like, if you want. But I guess your broker wasn't offering those prices at that time. They'll come back and they'll say to you, oh, well, that's not the prices that we had at that time. Or else if they did, then, oh, I wonder what went down. I wonder what went down. Maybe there's a spread, you know? Yeah. Your broker might offer a spread. You might have just been just out of the... outside of that. Who knows? I'm 99% sure that I got that entry from TraceBond, lol. Boom, boom. Well done, TraceBond. Excellent stuff. Excellent. Team effort, guys. Well done. And really well done to TradeSpotting. You know, it's like just looking here and kind of having this like I don't know what particular method that you did it. I wasn't watching, but just having this idea that we could come down here to test off that support again or something like that, and saying, well, how about we employ patience? That's pretty good. I'm a little bit concerned about this though. Let's be honest. So you might still get your entry. This thing here was a flash that we had on the charts. Yeah, we came, you know, down to it eventually. Had other flashes in between. Came back up to it. We've only ever interacted with it though those two times. You know, down and up. That's kind of like half and half. It's kind of just that one time in a sense. So will we interact with that again? It's kind of a question. It's a question, right? It's a question that's worth asking. Will we interact with that again? It could be that we find ourselves going back down there and just like, you know, that's a good liquidity hunt for us. These candles that are there, you know, on the one hand, you've got, it represents a rejection. There's two schools of thought on this, right? And it massively flips around depending on the emotions of the day. You've got like I mean, if I were to stick on the candlestick pattern crap from, is this it here? From TradingView. Is that all pattern? Is that no? It's not that one. Where is it? Might actually be that one. It's not showing up. Oh yeah, here's this long lower shadow. Can you see this writing that's on here? To indicate seller domination of the first part of a session, candlesticks will present with long lower shadows and short upper shadows, consequently lowering prices. Right, so, you know, you've got that school of thought on it. Then you've got the other thought on it where you can say, wow, what a massive rejection. Big bounce off that area, momentum up here towards the gap. So far, you know, we've got right up here towards the 50 simple period moving average on the 15-minute time frame. Just experienced the cross in here. Is this a retest of the cross and confirmation of the bearishness right there? Or is it not? However, obviously these are not long lower shadows. On a different time frame, it would be, right? Because this is the 15-minute time frame. This says long lower shadows just here on this time frame, and that's brought us down for that lower movement. Jump up to the 1 hour time frame. Is it going to load up? Yeah. So now we have what we saw here previously, which you now can't see, which has brought us down to this level where you can see just one of them, and it says, oh, consequently lowering prices. So, you know, that is a thing. Whose school of thinking is correct on it? I don't know, right? Because I'm not so heavily invested in candlestick patterns as like my one singular way of looking at the market, because that's moronic. But lots of people are out there and they would have an opinion on it, right? Whereas what I do is I paint my ceilings white and my walls magnolia and I just get on with life, right? That's my way of thinking about things. Anyway, on we go. Okay, what's in the chat here? What's in the chat? That's a bit naked. It's not the much. Maybe not. Might not be the naked you were looking for. Actually, screw it. If it does go towards the top side right now, blah blah blah. What we're looking for, just simple measurements here. Taking out that 50 simple peer movement on the 15-minute time frame, yada yada yada. That's good. 66 is your number here on the let's call it 666. In fact, the number of the devil. Closing up above that would be much more betterness than what we're doing right now. Even if we're at 64, you know, that's not that great. It's kind of rubbish. If we're at 66, let's call it 67. If we're at 67 round up, then much better, right? So that 3 cents really matters, and then yeah, we could target something like 80. Great, maybe even get, you know, trend in price action, yada yada. If we did come down towards this low here, you better damn well hope that it wasn't like, you know, massively didn't want to spend much time down there, because that would change the dynamic of the structure of this thing quite a bit, depending on obviously what time frame you're looking at, etc. So, you know, you want to continue the trend. I'd prefer to see this not dump down there. This is just on here as a warning. I covered the long lower shadow idea here to kind of incorporate with the idea of how, you know, we've had give and take happen over here a little bit, and you know, it kind of, you know, it did eventually get satisfied. Could be enough, totally could be, but then there's a little bit of that sort of like, we left it hanging on the table for a wee while without actually doing it. Maybe we need to just readdress this, you know, just readdress it maybe, in which case that's, you know, to look out for. And the way I do that is by kind of just keeping an eye out to see whether or not we're above 67 or not. So there's your TA then. Okay, feel satisfied with that one. Here's the chat though. The chat, the chit chat. That's you out there, every one of you. Thanks so much, by the way, for everybody for tuning in, by the way, today. Really do appreciate it. You could be doing anything with your time, but you're here spending it with me, and that's a fantastic thing. And thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Brilliant people. Ghost of Homer's ghost become two people that aren't you at Merrick Sanders. So I, roundabout ways. Rocky is just Jamie in a wig, who's really just Stonk Puppet controlling their strings. Stonk Puppet equals Tadpole Mastermind. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You see, Homer has done the DD on us. It's true. It's true. That's why you never... That's why, and it's so true, man. You've done it. You've narrowed that down. You've really overturned all of the stones. Good stuff. Jiu-Jitsu saying ghosts at Homer's ghost here. There is no evidence to suggest that GME is not in fact Ryan Cohen imitating a Scotsman. There is. Well, I'm not going to enter into that, because I think that that would be, you know, I'd maybe sway people's opinion too much on that front. Jamie is better looking than Ryan Cohen. He is. Jamie is better looking than Ryan Cohen. Jamie said that to me, and I was like thinking I have to audit his comment. He said Jimmy's better looking than Ryan Cohen, and I was like just about to repeat it, and I was like, he can't. I don't want to do, you know, fuck you, San Diego. I didn't want to do that, right? And then I was like, no, but wait, fuck you, San Diego. Jimmy's right. He is better looking than Ryan Cohen. Ghost of West Coastonian, thanks for the. Oh, and taller, yeah, and taller. He doesn't have a dog. No, it's the puppy. It's the cute puppy. The money, you know, sufficient. It's all more about. It's more about potential, status, and like energy and stuff like that. You know, and whether or not you've got a dog. And one day you'll get a dog. Yeah, one day. You know, start queuing now, ladies, because it's happening. Thanks for the naked and BWXTTA Rocky Outcrop. That was helpful. My goodness, Corey. Was I helping you without even realizing it? Oh my goodness, you've used me. I feel so dirty. Manifest Destiny's Urn of Ashes says Shakespeare. Sherlock. Holmes. Oh, Jamie's having a baby in his tummy. That's great news, says Vic Vince. Oh, you're so happy for him. I'm so happy for him. Banana Fridge hydration check, everyone. Okay, cool. Let's try this stuff. This is naked. What's this one called? Mango Machine plus vitamins. It's apple, mango, orange, and turmeric smoothie. Oh, excellent. Turmeric. Wow. That's the stuff. Shout out to who was I talking to about turmeric recently? Was it Ms. A? I wonder. Yeah. How much is that? This juice. How much does it cost? Oh, yeah. 200. Well, it typically costs 285 pennies out of a shop, but I got it as part of a meal deal, as it happens. This bottle wasn't born yesterday. It was in fact recycled. Ugh, dirty. I have to put this to my mouth now, and it's telling me it's a recycled bottle. Can you imagine? You just don't know where it's been. They just don't know where it's been. Aye, that's good. Thanks. Hydration check, everybody. Don't know if juice counts. Too much sugar in this stuff, isn't there? Magnesium and Latigra, of course. RC can't pull that off at all. Oh, and Magnum. And add Magnum. And Magnum. What words, eh? Ha! Who needs them? AHT, GEVO, and KPLT looks good. Right, let's jump on over to our pal. Ashford Hospitality Trust. Do you trust us? Do you trust us with your ashes and your Fords? Ford knows. Ford knows we do. Go on, guess. In what fictional world, which book do they say praise Ford and stuff like that? Go on, let me know. Where do they say it? Where do they say that? I think, is there two examples of it? I think there's two examples. Maybe not. There's at least one, right? A big one. Go on. Let me know if you know the answer to that. Stick it in the comments. Go on. Who do they say praise Ford to? Go on. Ford knows, stuff like that. Let me know what you think. Go on. Guess. Go on. This is AHT. It is in the place to be. What am I saying here? Ashford Hospitality Trust. Right, yeah, GEVO looks good as well. GEVO, as of course, GEVO Inc. Anti-inflammatory awesome sauce, that turmeric. Apparently it is, aye. You know they've got that festival in India where they all chuck dyes at each other. They're not dyes, they're powders, and like they're colorful powders, and one of them is turmeric, and it's kind of postulated that not only that actually, you know, that whole festival and when they're chucking turmeric at each other is actually really healthy and does people, you know, it helps them and it brings them health. And I thought to myself, that's a really funny one. It's a really funny statistic, because the people that they'll be of course, you know, using as part of that research probably live there and eat turmeric every day as part of their life. So you know, odd sample. Anyway, that's the science. The science is that festival chucking turmeric at each other, that's what it is that does it. I don't know if they actually measured the impact velocity or whatever. Anyway, Esoterica for the win today. I don't see anybody having guessed that, by the way. Oh, I did. Oh, well done. Orangutangled. Well done. You get through to the next round of Tadpole. No, you don't. That's a different show entirely. Yeah, what am I looking at here? AHT. I think, I mean, really, you know, in the background here, as I moved that, what you call it? What's that thing called? Fibonacci retracement tool towards the top side. You'll have noticed that, you know, just to make the full measurement of this range that we've been in so far, you will have no doubt noticed that the, I really dislike this long. Do you see the problem with this particular candlestick pattern here? Now that we're over here, there's an example. There's an example. They were both bollocks. Here's an example. Here's an example. They were both good. Here's an example. You know, it's like 50-50. You know, it's obviously dumb, right? It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. So candlestick patterns out of context, what are they? They're dumb. That's what they are. Anyhow, long lower shadow there. We could be going lower. It's true. We went lower over here. Of course, we did see a rise up in the meantime, which was huge, and eventually we went lower. And in the following time from the candle, we went an awful lot higher. Likewise here, and likewise here as well. Also, by the way, worth pointing out that the candlestick pattern works the other way around too. So we saw the same thing here, 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 and here at the tops. So worth bearing that in mind. Anyway, so popping these drawings back on, you know, we get a lot more excited about this thing in the here's and nows when it's above $3.10. We felt that the yesterday and that whatever, and we were pushing up there above that for a wee while. We felt that enthusiasm. You'll have felt that. Jimmy talks sometimes about how you should be aware, pardon me, of your emotions. I'm a really emotional guy, like all the time, except when I'm trading, because I'm a stone cold killer on that front. But hey, you know, you got to compartmentalize. And Jamie as well, really emotional guys. We talk about this as a couple of emotional brothers talking to each other who are very interested and passionate about trading, you know, and everything. We've talked about this over years and years and years. Jamie is one who is able to compartmentalize between his sort of ego and his emotions to the point where he feels that his emotions can inform his psyche at the time in a way. I would dispute that, you know, and say, well, evidence historically would suggest otherwise, bro. So, you know, it depends how you think. Now, he would be saying here at this time, yesterday, like, oh, this enthusiasm that you're feeling at that time, maybe we need to just check that enthusiasm and think about it. And you'd be looking at it going, yeah, it's just, I know I feel enthusiastic because of the fact that it's above the 236, but until, such times as we're really properly doing it, we ain't quite doing it. I would have potentially have incorporated, he talks about this sort of thing on the show from time to time. I'm not going to put words in his mouth. He can tell you all about it himself. But he might have thought at the time, like, I need to consider whether or not these emotions are real. Whereas I would have just been looking at it and not feeling any emotions, right? So, which is maybe a bit odd way to think about things. But anyway, there you have it. So, yeah, and well, okay, so we're still looking. We'll be feeling, in inverted commas, a heck of a lot better about this thing when it's above $3.05, as you will have experienced yesterday when you were no doubt experiencing that yourself. Yada yada. And then we can lean up towards these higher targets. Where does the 382 come in at? If it takes us a wee whiley to get there and whatever else, then if we don't manage to properly break it, or if we operate between the 382 and the 50%, in the near future, then you're looking up towards sort of 1350 and 1415, 14 spot 15. There's an example of when it's quite good to say spot instead of point. I'll come back to that in a second. Because in this range that could be happening. Have you noticed the sort of the dojo-esque kind of snake in a basket look of that random drawing there? That's really all that's really pointing out, is that there's this whole range between that range of the median line of this channel that we're currently operating within. And we've obviously come down to the lower end of it. Now, we didn't actually come down sort of bang on to where it was, and in the past we've seen obviously that we've kind of been outside of it. It's not a strict thing. So if we did come on down the way, then what would that be? Will it be continuation down so far? This is a nice little bit of a kind of turnaround, but it's not necessarily quite there for us quite yet. We know that because we're below $13.05. So why would it be, an example there? Well, I'm talking about two different numbers, 14 and 15. And if I were to say 14.15, you might, it might not be different enough to you in your head for you to think that I'm actually saying 14 spot 15 at that moment in time. Whereas when you say 14 spot 15, then somebody's hearing it and they're going, right. So, if you were to say to somebody, what price is that stock? And they were to go, 69.79, you might think, or 69.70 or something like that. You might hear 69.70, but if you were to go 69 spot 70 or 69 spot 70, then they're like, inside the brain, and it fits, it fits. An analogy. People like analogies. So you operate a mechanic. So you're a mechanic and you have cars come in and out all the time. You don't necessarily know if a car driving in is one that's going to be a customer for you. It could be somebody dropping off some mail at your business, for example. But this particular car drives in and it smashes off the walls and it looks and sounds disgusting. And you're like, yep, that's definitely one of my customers approaching right there. That type of idea. It's the sort of, you might be professional, you might be acting professionally all the time, but sometimes it is even handy for them to have that. If you can think about it in another way, another analogy is that, these guys who are soldiers out there in the world, they're really professional at shooting people who are in the opposite team, but everybody still wears nice uniforms so everybody can see each other and see who's in the opposite team, just to make that a bit easier, that type of thing. Right, great, okay, cool. So here we have it. Yeah, that the target for us remains here then, or more or less between these two zones, and that's another reason why I was talking about it. That's the median line of that parallel channel. So yeah, looking decent today. GEVO as well. If anybody wants me to take a look at anything else, by the way, just fling a bit chitter chatter box jobby dobby wobby thing in there, super chat or a jobby. It is 4:15 and I'm not planning on staying on all day, so if you want it you can take it, otherwise I'll just head off. It's all good. Right, yeah, Gevy Wevy, baby. It went all the way down here to the 1618 and then bounced off it again. Obviously, this has happened when I wasn't looking at it. However, we can see here that this is where we are. Would I have talked about this at the time? Would I have? Where did this come from? Where did this come from? Where did this come from? Why is that there? Anyway, it's perfect. So I've obviously done a decent job with it. They came down to the 1618. Nice. So we've done that now. We've done that move, right? as we so often do, what we look for, the 1618. 236 on this one, 629. Current price is 611. You know, it's got a lot to go, but not 10% or anything. And then we could easily be targeting 712 just to stick us back mid-range. Yeah. Although we could obviously be coming down. I mean, the fact of the matter is this is another big one that's got a big consolidation effect on the go for us as well. GEVO, GEVO. Did I just do this? Did I just do this? I think I just did that there, didn't I? Did I? Did I? I don't know. So GEVO 722 would be the price it needs to be above. You can see that it's done. It did that in this little shallow area here, but wasn't able to keep going, unfortunately, between October, the sort of 25th, 7th, 8th, whatever, and the 12th of November. So it was trying it, but failing. Pushed a little bit lower here, but not actually outside of the overall range. Oh, it's sideways. This is the yeah. Going back to Jimmy's birthday sort of time, right? And bringing in a where's my I hate finding the parallel channel. For me, it seems stupid, but Trading View, I know you love me, and everybody out there, you should realize that there's this deal, and you should take it now. And if you don't, I'm going to keep advertising you about Trading View all year round anyway. I'm one of their partners. Trading View, if you ever watch, I'm going to stick the parallel channel thing in amongst these ones and as well, and then going to just like take all of the stuff like GAN, GAN box, GAN square, GAN fan, and just chuck it somewhere else. Stick it into a new one which is called Mad Bollocks Nobody Really Uses. And right, okay, could we do that? Could we do that? I would love to see parallel channel next to Fib channel. Why not? You know. Or put some, yeah, do something, yeah, right. Anyway, so that'd be cool. They don't watch though. It's just a joke, right? But you know, so yeah, kind of looking between these. What? Aha. Yeah, no, I wanted that type of crap and this type of crap here. This parallel channel idea. I mean, we could go in sideways, right? So you could obviously have it up here and down here, and you could talk about the mid range here, and you could keep talking about these different aspects of things. It is slightly tighter than it was before, and that any movements really kind of beyond these highs and these lows would extend us down to the next chunk, and that's a big chunk down the way. So I could stick the VPVR on and stuff like that to have that to demonstrate that some more, but can't be bothered. That's these two areas outside of this range is really kind of where we're looking at. We've obviously pushed down and flirted with that today, but or yesterday, whenever, last couple of days, but we haven't taken out that low over there, and that's really kind of key for us. So we'll just accommodate that in amongst our thinking and just pop that like that. Now we know as well that this high has got the 236 from the bigger time frame in it around about this region for it, right? We know that, and that's great and everything, but we also know that really we need to be up above the 236 to actually get any sort of business on the go, and the 1618 is going to have to be our target in at 927 if we actually want to push any higher. Like this area here, as I pointed out with this circle, is kind of like that no man's land territory. It's where we are with it. This big volume that we've got here on the go, in a sense, like giving us that temptation to think like, yes, we're really we're turning things around. But in actual fact, all we've seen since then is this. So is this like an accumulation play? Now, you don't have like Wyckoff accumulation distribution really happening at midpoints in markets, typically talking about things, but the psychology behind it is perfectly the same. So can we think of this region just here then as being like, it's not perfectly the same. What the fuck am I talking about? I mean, highs and lows have dramatic impacts on the human psyche. What, Rocky? Hold on a second. But you get the point. You probably get the point that I was trying to make, in the sense that when you've got a dip down like this, can that operate like a spring, if you want? And do you want to call this? Do you want to have this sort of phase E bollocks over here in this section here, and be like, ooh, right, or whatever, right? So that could be happening here with this, right? What do you call what does that come out from? That comes from the textbook, the Hopium textbook, right? It's quite a big heavy book, hard to carry around with you. But the thing about it is that if you do carry that around with you all the time, you develop the muscles and you can kind of keep carrying that around with you forever. So just be aware you don't want to carry the Hopium textbook everywhere you go. But you know, that's one of the plays in it. So, but instead we can just kind of, instead of trying to apply narratives to this thing that don't necessarily fit, we can wait until we've established. I mean, this here, like, you know, with the bullish and then bearish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. It's kind of getting pushed around everywhere. This instead is an opportunity, a good opportunity to kind of look towards like patterns, etc. on the RSI here. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, down like that. And then, you know, we had this type of thing over here, and we didn't, you know, get the full sort of measured move because it was like massive in that sense. Pushed up there, then we started going down the way down here, and we had this on the go, like that, possibly like that. Either way round, you know, it looks like we're getting a bit of a breakout from this one. And we could obviously go up a wee bit here, blah blah blah. But you know, until we've actually done those things that I'm talking about, where you get up past those regions, you know, past that 950 area or wherever it was that we're talking about, then you haven't changed anything at all. And this has been consolidation on this chart for the last few months, and it is, like, you know, hard to do the TA on it. So this is where we are right now. I'm anticipating this to have a nice little run here, but obviously we've got major concerns with this one, even coming in at 686. Now that's fine because that's 10% up from where we are right now. It's more than 10% up from where we are right now. So, like, you know, you could capture 7% move on that one fairly easily. I mean, that's bread and butter for a trader, right? So so you can see here that there's this eternal conflict that exists inside the charts, where it's like, you know, does it look good or not look good? And from what perspective does it look good from? Well, from an investor's perspective, I mean, you've got 99% of investors out there which operate like real stupid, like, and yeah, it looks great for that in a sense, right? But does it pay a dividend or anything? Nah, it's actually, it doesn't pay a dividend or anything, does it? It's just losing money. It's not that great, no. It's questionable, you know, and in that it's hard to know, but from a trading perspective, absolutely can be done. Nice ranges to be taken advantage of here, and really, you know, if you've been trading for years and years and years, there'll probably come a time in your life, right? Actually, no, that's no. If you try trading a lot, you trade in a lot of different ways. You grow as a trader and try different ways of trading, you know, and everything else. At some point, you'll probably start thinking to yourself, you know what's great is trading within a range. And then you'll think to yourself, you know what's great is whenever a range is range bound within a range. And then you'll think to yourself, I love sideways, something about sideways markets. I just love sideways markets. Then you'll think to yourself, it would be great if this just went sideways for the next 3 months. Right? And that'll happen at some point, probably to most of you out there in the audience. You'll think to yourself at some point in your head, wouldn't it be great if this thing just went sideways for the next 3 months? Looking back, the way the mentality that you have when you say something like that is wouldn't it be great if this just went sideways for the next 3 months? Right? And that's where we are with this one. What's next? What's next on here? Nobody's requested anything. Uh-oh, clock ticking. Do I need to get up a timer on screen? If nobody wants anything, it says anything in the next 3 minutes, then I'll be tuning out. That's enough time to have a sandwich. Would you like a sandwich, Jimmy? No thanks. Not just now. I'll have a bite of a sandwich. Isn't she sandwich? Isn't she sandwichable? When Moas. Pump it, pump it, pump it, crump it, pump it, crump it. Done teaching for the day. Yay. Well done. Congrats. Rocky's crypto wallet idea. Short mana. Oof. I can't remember what mana does again. Decentraland. That's the name for mana. Yeah, that's it. Whatever. Do 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 do. Aye. A failed wedge becomes a channel. Failed wedge becomes a channel. When you're looking at channels, also make sure you're not just looking at wedges without realizing it. Right. So there's danger afoot. If we do push outside of this thing at any given time, it's not necessarily going to take us like not necessarily going to light the heather a light. Not going to necessarily light the heather a light. The range is really actually screw that. Not going to deliberately complicate things as I was kind of doing before. Just be aware that if you're looking at a parallel channel, that you could easily be trading a wedge, and therefore this is a good idea in a sense to short this. Sure, absolutely. Just purely looking at this from a, not even looking at volume, like not even looking at volume. Just kind of cover that up there, and definitely not looking to look at the oscillators or anything else like that. Just purely looking at this perspective right here. Take those moving averages off as well, so you don't get distracted. Purely talking about this here and saying, yeah, cool, right? But also wanting to point out that if we were to move, and I'll just that doesn't work. Remember that, Tomb Raider. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Welcome to my humble abode. That doesn't work. Right. So if you were looking at this sort of crap along these lines, and you were thinking anything along this sorts of lines here, you could be looking at it pushing up towards 650 from 450. That'd be an all-time high. We're in at all-time highs right now as we speak, and we've actually managed to get here without divergence between these 2 points just here, as it happens. The low that we had along the way had hidden bullish divergence on it. So there's a conflict of here, in the sense that on the most, oh shit, I said I wasn't going to look at the oscillators. What am I doing? That's cheating. I'd see how I was cheating there. I have to take away that information. It's too smart and too informed. What we're talking about. Anyway, right, instead of that. So yeah, instead we're going to talk about this from another perspective. Like, yeah, so we're in this parallel channel, but as you can see, we only really came down to the lower end of the parallel channel twice. So we have to consider whether or not that constitutes 3 touches and is good enough as a parallel channel. So we're going to have to kind of take score, take one off of the score of how good that channel is, right? And we're going to have to show that we've been unable to push down any lower along the way over the last wee while. And that, of course, when we did break up above the median point of the parallel channel here, we did so with a good degree of gusto and momentum, which has carried us up as far as we've got so far. And as a result of that, we haven't actually seen a decent pullback quite yet. I would suggest, therefore, that while we're in this particular little region right here, that there's probably a pretty good chance that this could flag out and test up a little bit higher before dropping down. There's a good chance of it. And what that means is that you simply would need to, consider the risk of taking out the 2 wicks that we've put in here over the last, few hours. If you were looking to just take a short term short on this thing. So imagine you just had some sort of risk management along these lines, and you were looking, say, back towards a retest of the median line of that parallel channel. Then you've got a 4.5 to 1 risk to reward. It's easy. You can make it whatever you want. Let's make it so it's like fairly decent. There you go, 1.74. That shitty kind of fake out from that move. Fibonacci wise, that measures up with what we've already come up towards 1618 and pushed up above. The 268 would be there, or 618. Yeah, so yeah, man, you know, good and everything, like, and I'm with you on it. I'm with you on that idea. It's just that also if you wanted to, you could look to see if this can get an extension up another, what would that be? 20, another from another $1.50. You do the math. So there's those aspects to be aware of, and this as well. Oops, sorry, I said I wasn't going to look at volume, but I decided to incorporate that into the TA as well because it's just so hard to be narrow-minded and only look at things like an amateur would. It really is. You know, it's hard to deliberately do that. So when you see other people doing it with alacrity, you got to wonder if they're doing it on purpose at all. Maybe just be naturals at being stupid. You know, a lot of people are. So yeah, yeah, pulled the hair out of my mouth. That's so rude. I'm gonna have to write to the manufacturers of that sandwich and say it was their fault, even though it's obviously mine. That volume there, is that starting or stopping volume? You know, like in a sense, you know, is it? Well, this here is more like stopping volume. Okay, you see what happened in here? I was trying to show this. This is more like stopping volume than this. This instead can be considered to be like increasing volume during an increasing trend. Vic, man, I want to tell you that you're right and that it's going to work for you. It's just that there's an extreme chance that it doesn't work for you that short. But you can manage your risk around it dead easy, you know. And the thing about it is that when you talk about these things, right, it's the psychological pivots that operate between these two areas, right? Isn't it? You get in at this, getting in at this area is crap because the risk to reward is just not there. You're looking at a tiny, crappy move. Getting in at this area gives you the risk to reward. What is the risk? Well, the risk is this, you know? So you're taking on this much risk to get this much reward. That makes sense, like a lot of sense, you know, to do. But in terms of whether, you know, what are the chances of this pushing up there and stopping you out? And even ultimately coming back down and giving a move of a similar distance, you know, after the fact from the next one there. So what you're really saying in lots of ways is that you've got no, from a strategic trader's point of view, a lot of people want to have this information, right? A lot of times, and they don't get enough of it, and nobody does it very well, and blah, blah, blah. But if you were to take a trade on this and you were looking to go short, you could do it twice, right? Once here and fail, and once here and fail, or not fail, right? If you did it here and it worked, you've covered your losses by double. You know, you've made profits, which you're in profit by twice what you ever lost, right? So great. But at the same time, you know, like you like that's the play. Likewise, if you were to think about this from a long perspective, then how would you do it? Well, long position, pop that like that. Think about like how you've got this flag type thing here. You want to be back you know, buying it right here at the very top. That's buying the top. You know, you're taking on a very different risk. You'd have wanted to have been thinking about this like an hour or 2 hours ago, whatever. And you'd be stopping out like if you took out this sort of region, and then if it did it, and you'll be looking up to like there, and if that didn't work, then maybe you'd think about trying to get in maybe here or here. But you wouldn't. What you wouldn't do is get stopped out just here, right? The prices just moved just above. Like this is in a theoretical example or whatever. If this is your position, and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to short it here, and then it comes up and it goes like that, and it comes back down. Then you don't just go, oh, brilliant. No, actually, this is when I should have shorted it. This is when I should have shorted it, right? Because what you do is, even though that might be correct, in that individual instance, it may well be. The other thing is, it could easily just go up there and down again, you know, in that sense, as well. And that what you're doing there is you're just doing the same thing, you know. And you've already tried that and it didn't work in a sense. So your timings may be wrong, and you need to improve your timing so that you only make that mistake once, as opposed to making it again and again and again, etc. But going in and out, 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 if a trade, as can so often happen to people, is crap. Now, as you can see, that's obviously what could have been the case for people managing their risk really, 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 really tight at this high. And it's a common classic sort of thing as to what provides liquidity at the top and lower end of a bull flag or a bear flag, right? Isn't it? Think about it. So how do you want to perform in the markets? It's obviously a case of kind of, you know, limiting your exposure to negative attrition on your account by taking the best opportunities. So while I'm not saying you can't do it, Vic, here we are, right? Here we are. Now the thing about it is that if you'd have been thinking along these lines right here, right now, and you were worried about it, then as a discretionary trader and whatever else, you've got into it down here. That's a 2 to 1. You're making money when you're like 1.2 to 1 there, or whatever. If you wanted to, and you're thinking about it right now, you could take 10% of your profits off, pay for any fees that you might be exposed to if it did drop back down, blah blah blah. You could do any of that sort of thing if you wanted to. It's like your choices. You can do what you want to do. You can evolve and do whatever you want to do in markets and all that over time. But that's a nice little discussion for you live, right, Vic? I mean it probably matches in with what you were looking at live at the time with your trading, and live expert analysis for why there's this risk involved in this move. It's great, isn't it? That's great. I think is this unique? Is this unique on YouTube? Is it? I don't know. Let me know. Chris Sweeney sent $27. F yes. What? Let's scroll back up though, because a couple of people did. Vic Vince, Rocky Crypto Wallet. You cheeky bastard, Vic! You got me to do all of that for $1. Tell you what, you'll have made more than $1 out of that. I'd have made more than $1 trading it. I was kind of skeptical. I'd be more than fucking $1 up, right? Anyway, like for even if I was just whatever, not asking you for money, having a laugh, right? It's funny, isn't it? This is good, valuable information, right? I think that's what I'm trying to say. Koki, what are you saying, Koki, my wheel of time friend, pal? What are you saying here? I had to tune in late work. Balls. But I'm catching up now. Thanks for bringing the Highwayman back into my life. Great reading. Thanks so much, Koki. Koki was talking about that the other day in the Discord, or yesterday evening. Discord. Had to learn it as a kid. The line, the wind blow. I can't even remember. I only read it. Just wait a minute. The line here. When the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas is one that stuck with him. And it's really nice that you said that, him or her. I actually still don't know your gender, pal. It doesn't matter. And it's really nice that, no, you did tell me, and then I forgot again. But my dad was here in the chat when I read that one out earlier on, and you might have seen it in the live chat, and he said that my mum's favourite line, and I read this out because it's about my mum's favourite poem, was when the road, and my mum's still about, I could just ask her directly, but dad was telling me, when the road is a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor. That's nice, it's just nice that those two favourite lines here right next to each other, isn't it? Nice stuff. Right, cool. I'm totally going to just move on here though. Rocky Outcrop, a man of the people, thanks for all your hard work day in, day out. Ghost of Homer's Ghost, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Chris Sweeney, what do you think about RSR heading to a penny? RSRUSDT. Read a news article today. This is one of the things I should really get into, I suppose, in a sense, is that I never use the news on TradingView to look anything up, which is where I really should have always have done the news section from, instead of going over to Yahoo Finance and stuff like that. I just did that to make it more accessible. But anyway, the where is this? Sorry, just looking for the news. You can see there's a lot of rubbish news in here at the minute. There was a news article where I wanted to show that SHIB is the 5th most held token on the entire Ethereum network. Oh yeah, I know. It's also got one of the biggest supplies on the entire Ethereum network. And it's also got like being one of the most manipulated stocks or cryptos on the Ethereum network, and blah 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 blah. But yeah, there it has it. There you have it. There's a news story for you. RSR, the big supply, cheap coin, blah 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 blah. But it's 3 cents at the minute. So Chris is asking, what about it going to 1 cent? And I wonder why. And did you mean 1 cent, pal? By the way, might have meant $1 or one something else. Yeah, but if you meant 1 cent, that would be it going down. So let's just take it at face value first off. And why not, right? Because Jimmy and myself in the past have talked about the bullish case scenarios on this thing recently enough. I think I would say right now here, just as an example, that is wrong, and I've realized that looking at it, that if you're in a linear chart basis, if you go above 40 cents, you're doing really, or 4 cents, you're doing really well. But while we remain above 0.26, 2.5 cents, we're doing exceedingly well anyway. Is this only going to go back as far as that? September 2020. I think it was out before then, wasn't it? It doesn't matter. Was it not? Doesn't matter. that's at less than a cent anyway. So I mean, I'm like, if I'm just going to think about it from a point of view of a cent, you know, what would it be? So I'll just remove this. Well, Jamie was answering my questions in the background. It didn't occur to me that it might not come through to you. I was asking, Jamie was answering. So just looking at it from this point of view, we came down to 618, pushed up lots, didn't invalidate the 236 up there, back down, currently residing below the 382. The 382 coming in at 41. That's where that 236 is on a linear scale. And this is on a logarithmic scale right there. So, you know, that's a key pivot for us. I mean, and also don't be blind. That's where this previous high was. And also don't be blind. This is where the fake out territory 1, 2 would be of this triangle. The range on this thing, something along these sorts of lines, and flinging that up above takes us up above that 236. And of course, the overall look of this thing becomes 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches, and you're inside a parallel channel, and that would obviously be trending towards the top side. So what you're looking for is failure. What's the current points? Is this one? It was obviously the 2 fake out territories towards the downside. You're looking at having to take out the prices of 31 and of course 26, but we already covered this as well anyway, that roll you're above 24 or whatever it was I said 5 minutes ago, then you're doing pretty decent. So we're all right on that front. It's highly speculative to say that we could be going there just now, but if you were to be looking at that, and I'm just going to take this off logarithmic right as I do this little measurement, because I don't want the stick to go mad here on this effort. But if you were to take that as your sort of range and stick this down the way, then you come down to half a cent or so. So that would take you there. If you were to go down to 60% of the move, you could get down to around about a cent, you know, and that would be all right. And it wouldn't be it wouldn't be the all-time lows. Now, ideas in terms of then instead, like, let's just be super bullish on this one and start off and say, well, if you know, move up the way, linear scale chart here, you can see that it comes up. It's not above the 236, etc. It's obviously doing what we were talking about before, but from a linear basis, that might be slightly broadening. Just let me get rid of all that. In fact, I can just ditch it that way quickest. Is that the case? Would that be the case? No, that actually looks pretty. Actually, looks really neat as well there. So you know, you could easily have this kind of kickoff as well. So then, if that were to happen, how far does that ever take us? And say what you meant to say was 10 cents. 10 cents is like up at our all-time highs, as opposed to like looking up to $1. Then, and I'll check the chat. You probably answered and everything else. Then obviously here's like the starting point in terms of like, can we get outside of this? All this does is takes us up towards the top end of that. That's all that does. I wouldn't want to draw a wedge around this or anything else. But that's the start. That's the start of it. So can we do that? Let me just take this back on logarithmic. Sorry. Can we do that? Yes, we can. And here we can get the I don't like that. It doesn't work for me gestalt wise. Then we can just instead look up for our targets. Now this range that we've got here is significant. The next area up is 40, right? So this is 40, right? 0.40, right? 0.40. The current price of this here is 0.03. Where is it? 5. 0.035. So you'll notice the elephant in the decimal place room is of course that 0 right there. So you're talking about a move which is obviously 10, 11x, whatever, 12 and a half x up from where we are now. So obviously, you know, you take it. So the idea being here, like, that is huge. It's totally possible. Where does that bring us to? And let's just kind of, you know, speculate along these lines. So if you did want to get up towards 1 cent, easy peas, you know, you just have to, like, you know, aim for this to continue. If this does become the long-term chart on RSR, then the idea of getting towards $1 becomes very, very feasible. You could see it dropping back down again to something around about 10 cents as being your support, should that be the case, right? So there's my long-term interpretation of the RSR reserve rights token chart, set up by guys that set up PayPal, but then again, you know, these executives do get passed around about like village bicycles amongst like these companies, but no, but the investors are from PayPal, but the founders aren't. And Microsoft, yeah, no, it's really good. It's got really good, yeah, and it's got really good ones. But you know, it's kind of like these guys will invested in 100 shit projects as well each. You know, it's like the people who do really well on that front are not just in one business. Yeah. Right. So that's that. Am I here for? Am I serving any purpose? Am I serving any purpose here? Vic, I'm planning this short for your pension wallet, not just myself. So it's you making the dollar plus all the upcoming gains. It's crap crypto being pumped, and I imagine a similar top as SHIB had in the coming period. Man, you know, it's not. I was right there with you on that one. What was it called again? Mana. I was right there with you on that one. Is it dumped yet? Not yet. Let's go down to the 3-minute chart. Just have a look at this in terms of, you know. So the conversation is, it's like I'm right there with you, man. I get it. Let's look. Let's just kind of consider, you know, consider where could we go? Where could we go? What if this expression here? What if this is true? I mean, what if this is true? These. What if these lies this thing keeps trying to tell us are actually true? Instead, I mean, we're close, right? I mean, if we've done the 1.25 the last couple of times on moves on this one, and that the extensions that we're getting, it's obviously a bit extended looking as well. I mean, we want a correction at some point. This bull flag along the way was nice, though, hey. Man, this is trading, eh? This is trading. Like, you're not wrong. I'm not wrong. All right. Okay, cool. So we're done. We're done, people. No, but Rocky, please stay. Please stay. Remember that guy that asked about Turkish lira? Apparently they dumped. What, the Turkish lira dumped? The Turkish lira shite, mate. But the headline today has been that that some central bank person or whatever doesn't anticipate an extended run in Turkish lira. So it's what was it? TRYUSDT. USDT, what was I saying? TRYUSD. You actually probably can get USDT pairing on this thing versus, whoops, we'll go somewhere else for this. Go this way round instead. He was looking at it the other way round. The other way round. Okay, so dumped is pumped on the other one. The other one had a pump looking up, probably filled in the flash. I don't know where was it, right? What was it? Well, this one's USD TRY, so it was TRY USD. That was what the guy was asking about. There only was one place to look at it at the time, but it had more liquidity than this shit on it, man. Like this is shit. Like what am I looking at here? So I thought I looked at it on Onanda or something like that. I thought there was different plate. No, I've got a line on the chart there, so this is where I was looking. 24. Okay. Well. You know, I think my main comment on the Turkish lira was it's a shite currency from a shite economy that's not going to ever do any well, and that anybody looking to long it better be getting out their longs pretty quick because it's fucked. Then the guy was asking, you know, could it possibly go up? And I was saying, you know, it could possibly, but it's fucked, mate. All right. Anyway, Turkish lira, that's hilarious. I've got nothing against Turkish people. I'm not racist. Think that their economy's shite, and that's my opinion as an economist. Right. I also think it's run by shitty people running the thing as an economist, right? I'm speaking metaphorically, of course. Oh, what metaphor? What metaphor have we got? I don't know. You don't do a lot of forex, do you? How do you play this? Says Critical Hits. I do a lot of forex, man. I trade forex, like, but people don't ask me for forex a lot. So, how do you trade it? Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? How do you play this? You said play. How do you play this? How do you play this? Well, I mean, this is you play it like anything else, buddy, man, right? Like, it looks shite. There was nothing to tell you that it would look anything good about it whatsoever before at all, if you remember the TA. Now, if the prices actually manage to get up above 0.088, and you're actually doing something that's actually worth talking about, then you've got the possibility of a diving board guy. I mean, you've got the possibility of a V-shaped recovery, yada yada. It is what it is until it is what it isn't, is how you play this, man. It's probably one of the most common phrases that I say on this show. Right, brilliant. Okay, you serve a purpose for us every moment you're with us. Don't ever doubt it, says Jiu-Jitsu. Ah, thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, what purposes have I served the last couple of minutes? Oh yeah, sandwiches. Oh, and naked smoothie reviews. That's that. That's my primary directive. Right, cool. Much love. Then we're tuning out. We're tuning out, folks. We're tuning out. We're tuning out. That's it. Don't say I didn't say. Well, I'm gonna. Wait, did people want me to look at? Oh, you want to look at Ada? Right, cool. Nice one, man. I'll do that. So we're not tuning out yet. I'm not gonna do what I said I was gonna do. Oh, I got to your entry from 2 months ago. Oh, look at that. That's a surprise. That's also where I said it might be going to. Jamie and I look at charts and we come up with similar ideas. God, who'd have thought it, right? Wow, amazing. I don't know, something about the way that I did this tea in the past is signaling to me that maybe we were talking about it coming down here. It's very hard to tell, but this and this arrow and this green stick and whatever else, great. So it's done that. That's cool. So now can we go up, please? Is that the question? Now can it go up, please? We've got this, but I'm going to have to. Is this white? Ah, yeah, perfect. So I've got a different color here. Is it? Wait, okay, yeah, I know I do. I have a different color here. Is this overall kind of what's going on here? It's only got 2 touches. You'd be very hopeful for that to be the case. Was this also what was happening? Nah. Right, so that's all done what that is. So let's just take this down to the latest low and see. So this is a big area for us. Big area for us. F off everything. That's better. Right, okay, thanks. I will miss them, but not a lot. Okay, now I'll leave it on. The TA down here has been pretty good. Get rid of some of this crap. So what do I want to look at on this front now, from where we are now? What's useful to me now, having done all of this up to here? There's, you know, sometimes when I look at charts, by the way, if it's in this sort of a scenario, and I'm so aware that I'm so crushed by, not crushed, is that I'm trying to be dramatic or poetic. I'm so influenced by the TA from the past and everything else that it's like it's hard to kind of reconcile the what knowledge is fresh and what knowledge is at the under the influence of other knowledge. 310 there at the top end. That lines up with where I put that in roughly. Good. So yeah, we've come so close to this 618. Have we done it yet? Have we gone enough quite yet? Not sure on that front. How about when we consider the dynamic between here and here, like this dynamic? How about when we consider that dynamic in the markets? You know, where did that lead us to? Pardon me. Let me just switch the other one. It came down to the 1.414 and got a bounce, and we're below the 1272, but we're above the 1618. Right. So that's, you know, it's worth bearing in mind, right? It's worth bearing in mind that that the actual kind of low could ultimately come in a little bit lower. It could, right? It could come in a bit lower. Let's have a look then here on the sort of 1 hour time frame at the at this rundown to where we've come from. At this rundown to where we are. What, this thing here that we're looking at? This is, yeah, it's, I was trying to, did you not see, I was trying to fit that on before. It didn't look like it was going to fit down there, so I went for the whole thing. There's that. And again, like, you know, the top end of this thing, like, let's hope. Ow, it's hurting. Was that actually what was going on? And then we kind of just failed. In some people's mind, we just failed. A failed wedge becomes a channel, like, so, you know, there's the other people's mind, and then not the other people's mind, that's just the reality, isn't it? And then you've got, like, so roughly there to roughly here, this type of thing. And yeah, going slightly lower, isn't it? There we have it, ladies and gents. You're looking for that entry on Cardano. It's coming in at 150. Do you want to look for hopium? Anyway, right. Other things. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So just short-term stuff. We realize bearish, right? It's bearish conditions, just poking its head back above the bearish parapet, but it got shot off by who's on the opposite side of this? We got shot off by a bearish bullet straight away. Ting! That's seen in Private Ryan. You're lucky, not so much. And then yeah, so it's bearish. It's got this. Right. Well, you know, I said this before, right? The in the show today about how the patterns are kind of not as easy to see. I'm trying, you know, it's like, is it here? Is it there? That's what one person was thinking. What person else was thinking? Like, instead, can we look towards the RSI to get more clarity on it? I think we can. And Jimmy kind of in the background here said, "Oh, is that a huge wedge?" When we were looking just a minute ago, and you know, you can see on the RSI just if we look a little bit, you know, that there's this, right? Now when we do get a turnaround, then what we can say is that the turnaround from this could position us in such a mode as to actually get into the bullish control zone again. Now, if we do get into the bullish control zone again, will it be like last time, right? So let's look at last time. This is between these two highs, and what I want to see here is if there is any hidden bearish divergence, right? So I'm looking to see here up towards this, bing, bong. Yeah, actually there was hidden bearish divergence. So in this mode, then, if we're going to turn bullish on this and we're looking for a bullish reasoning for it, what we need to see is for the prices to take out that high that's in there, right? This is the pain range then that we're in right here. Bang, bang, bing, dang, bang, bing, bong. This is what this is kind of what the discovery is that we're finding that most people aren't going to be seeing on the markets right now. This is the real range, even though this was, you know, and this was the prior range that we were in back then, and we're not in it any fucking more. But we could get into it again, but we would need to get, you know, reasons for it. This range, this is expressed by the channel itself, and the channel is, you know, the pricing only takes us back up as high as if we were to, like, you know, push just now for this here as that area. So what we need to see happen is for this, what we want to see happen is for this to not come in again, you know, another dose of hidden bearish divergence here, which means we need to see this at the prices actually get up above that, which means, ladies and gentlemen, that we're really just like the probable next target is 150. The upside pivot point is 195, and anything in between is shit on Faceland. Right. Okay. Cool. Excellent. Ooh, Shib is coming to something. Shut your face. Right. There we have it. That's where we are with Card Diddly Dando. Thank you for tuning in. Right, I'm going to start doing the, unless somebody jumps in right now and pays me to stay, otherwise I am effing the F off. If you're spot on, not in a rush, it's probably not terrible, Chris, says Jamie. What are you talking about, Chris, about? Chris, about Cardano. Aye, it's great. Cool, excellent. Thank you so much then for tuning in. The bells outside are ringing 5 p.m. in my time, so this is unusual for me to be here. As you can see, actually you can't. Let's go back up to the bigger screen. And as you can see, it's pitch black outside. It is dark over here, because it's nighttime now in Scotland. Where's this thing? There. Background removal. You can't actually see. You can't see anything. And even if you could see, besides, I live on like a really well lit street. Merrick Sanders, man, that's really generous of you. I wasn't looking. Leave, my friend. Thanks. I wasn't looking for that. I was just saying if anybody wants it. Hey, gents, happy Thanksgiving to you. Thankful for sharing so much. Could you have a look at ZNOG? Right, cool. There we go. See, like that sort of thing. No problems, buddy. So ZNOG, and I'm off. Oh, by the way, I wasn't clear. Shit, sorry. I'm not doing a show tomorrow. Markets are closed tomorrow. Happy Turkey Day is, of course, the day that all Americans forget that they murdered all the Native Americans. I don't know how you feel about it if you've got any nationality outside of white Anglo-Saxon Protestant American, but it's great and we're all looking forward to it. It's a time when we all celebrate together. I was in Starbucks earlier on. That's right, that's where this stupid looking cup came from, and I heard a lovely lilting accent. I says to the chap, "Are you from the United States?" He says, "No, I'm not. I'm from Canada." I says, "Well, okay, that's good then, because I was going to wish you a happy you ever forget it." Anyway, he probably, whatever. But, you know, and then we had a good laugh about him being Canadian, from Canada and all that good stuff. It was great. It was great. It was great. It was great. But yeah, I know that those Canadians got Thanksgiving too. I was trying to say, you're not from, whatever. Anyway, ZNOG. This is oil and gas. Look at this thing. It's like a biotech. Actually, it's not, because it's actually, you know, traded in between times, but that's some volatility that's come in there recently. Well, that's like, what's happening actually? Just when I look at that, what's happening just over here at the minute? This, sorry, because it's a chart that's got like VIX-ness about it, doesn't it? So yeah, cool, nice one. Looks like, I mean, look, you want these? Wow. That's cool. Right. Anyway, so ZNOG, ZNOG, ZNOG. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bam, ba-dum, ba-dum, bam, da-dum, bing, 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 bing. Looking down there at the low turn time frames, you can see that there's big volatility on this thing, which is new. It's a changing conditions, and I wouldn't expect necessarily for it to last in the same way that it didn't necessarily last here, you know, and of course here and here, and of course as well, here. But, you know, you get it a lot. You get it a lot. It's just in between times, you know, you get this other stuff where it really kind of, just punishes you in between. And in fact, let's actually kind of think about that. You know, you do see this. So really, actually, yeah, I kind of would expect it to last. It just might, you know, it might just be killing you softly with this trend for like a while in between times. So you need to watch out for that. People love to try and catch a knife when it's kind of too late to catch the knife, and actually they're just putting their fingers right into the blender. Let's be very, very, very clear on this one, that while it is broadening a little bit, that this is like down the way, let's just take this off logarithmic actually, so you can see how this, because this is going to be a wedge on a linear time frame, like a huge wedge, which is the sort of thing that's going to attract a lot of like hypey eyeballs. This might be something that got you attracted to the stock in the first place, and looking between this high and this low, it's like, oh brilliant, we get a breakout. We go from all the way from 0.22 22 cents all the way up as far as 95 cents, and you know that's great and everything. That totally could absolutely happen, but this is a downward trend, and it is what it is until it is what it isn't. We're seeing volume in here, so the first sort of thing until it's like it is what it is until it is what it isn't. It's like, well, you know what, well, oh fuck, oh there you go. Right, anyway, you've hardly missed anything, don't worry about it. There it is. There's the nog. I looked at VIX in the background as well. Sure, you can look at VIX yourself anytime. You got this is potentially stopping volume, sure, right? But this is this downward trend. I had it on the linear chart before, or the logarithmic chart before, and I was trying to draw like a sort of channel around this thing. And when it's like that, you draw a channel around it, then you pop it over to linear, then as you can see from those yellow lines, they start contracting together, and it looks like a wedge. And I just wanted to demonstrate that there, so I did that with those two white lines before, and that's what you missed. And you could be looking up then towards that 95 target as a sort of breakout from this range territory, and we have got the volatility and the kind of the range here to try and make something happen. But all we've done so far is done, you know, moving towards where we're within the range as anticipated by this the geometry of the prices currently, right? Not the geometry of the prices, but the relationship of price to itself as visually represented here. Therefore, the outcome of that is geometry, but it's got fuck all to do with like hocus pocus. The fact of the matter is that that's where we are, and that's where we're always going to go to, and we went there. So great, fantastic. Do we actually get to go on from here any further? Well, the most positive thing so far, of course, that stopping volume. What have we got now? This is the first time we've broken into bullish trend conditions on the 24-hour time frame since the last time we actually did have a bullish trend, right? So it's the first time we've done this. So it's important to note that while you're above you know, while we've going to come so close a couple of times just here, we haven't actually managed to achieve anything. Now we did with this big movements, so that's pretty good. And then it kind of begs the question, right? Have I positioned this correctly? And is this actually just a retest? We kind of covered this slightly before with the other stock we were looking at, where I asked that question. Don't know what it was, Cardano maybe. And then. And now you can see here that maybe this is what's going on. Well, if this sort of thing is what was going on, then where's our retest? You know, where is our retest of it? Because that's what you'd have to describe that as. Are we having a retest of this, and is this happening for us just now? Maybe. Either way, it leaves you with the complete awareness that that was the buy price down there at 13, and here we are up nearly 100% at 22 from that area, and this is no longer where the buy price was for it. So, you know, if you're going in for this move that happened, it's already happened, the retest has already happened, and the move upwards subsequently has already happened, leaving us with a lower high right now where we are on that. You know, so this is convergent. Right, yeah, look, I am tempted as I'm talking about this to turn around and start to get bullish on it. I am, but let's just kind of like look here at something else. 4-hour time frame, okie dokie, 3-hour time frame. Right, great, excellent. Now we've got something. So the failure of this and the fake out territory from this is going to be at our last high, which is in here. As it happens, well, this one really, you know, there's this one, but that one is so far away from where we are now in terms of like another 100% up from where we are now that it's like, you know, it's less, you know, it's greedy to talk about it, right? Whereas just going from this general region up to fill in that chart and is that get flash, and that's 65%, and that's more than enough. So I'm going to say that I'm bullish on this for a move up towards 50, whatever that is. 30. Wait, sorry. 38 cents, moving up towards 38 cents is what I'm looking for, and I'm going to start anticipating questions about whether or not, you know, this like you know, this hidden bearish divergence which you've got on the go is going to screw us long term. And on this one, given that we've got this kind of this movement so far, I'm going to manage risk really tight on this. Wouldn't want to be taken out even halfway down here. You know, I'm not wanting to do anything that's even halfway down. So I just jumped down to the 1-hour time frame so I can draw that. Let's just do this in the 15-minute time frame so I can draw this out a bit more. Currently, where we are on this one, you could have used a pitchfork on this. It might be quite interesting, actually. If you want to do that yourself, whoever it is that asked me for this, then go ahead and do that and take a look at it and see if you see anything interesting with regards to, you know, just the movements outside of the ranges that we've already been in. But just trying to show you here that I wouldn't want to be anywhere below the sort of mid range of this parallel channel, and I'll be managing risk with our previous low there. We start putting in lower lows at this point down the way, then we're going to drop down a little bit further perhaps, and then you're going to be questioning about whether or not the volatility that's come in here so far has only managed to achieve hidden bearish divergence on something which is maybe completely snogged anyway. Who knows? Zion Oil and Gas Incorporated, well, with a name like that, it's going to have a lot of people saying a lot of things about it, with which I'm not going to say any of them. But it's interesting to see that a company that's got that has been doing badly at a time when another company, which obviously sells oil and whatnot, has been doing a little bit different stuff. But wait a minute, actually, here we are at the 15-minute chart on, and there's a pitchfork, just like I was saying how it could be interesting, and this is on US oil, and this has also been slightly down the way, and we're also getting resistance in here at the same time. Yeah, watch out for that other one. It could turn out to bite you. But then again, if it's sort of if it's uncorrelated with this chart, and if we just drop this up towards the 24-hour time frame, you can see big rises up here recently. Go over to ZNOG. You can see big drops down recently. So if there's a negative beta between these two, which maybe there is, then there's something to be exploited here with movements towards the top side. Whereas if these are industry-wide correlated, and this thing's just been doing shit because it's just been doing shit, and it's going to keep doing shit, and the weaker will get weaker, and the weak will get weaker in a downtrend, and this, and like in an uptrend, the strong get stronger. You would just be short in this, wouldn't you? Because it'd be screwed. How close to zero is it though? It's pretty close to zero, and that's the thing. Right. I'm definitely done now. Thanks so much for that. Thanks so much. If anybody else donates, then just money. Thanks so much. So chart. Thanks Rocky. Thanks for that, Justin Pickerel. Thanks then to the people who donated: Justin, Merrick, Justin, Vic, the Ghost of That Jiu-Jitsu guy, Thanks for telling me that I serve a purpose. It's good to know I've got a raison d'etre. Vic, thanks again. Chris Sweeney, thanks again. Interesting chat. I wonder what you meant, if it was 1 cent or 10 cents or whatever. Homer's Ghost, again, thank you so much for the support, buddy. It's really appreciated. Koki as well, thanks for the support. Vic Vince, Sally Mander, and Nathan, Alec, you've been great. Thank you so much to Aaron, who became a Patreon member last night to get himself access to the Discord and the Rocky Outcrop Flash indicator. This is only usable on TradingView, which you can get with a massive discount at the minute. It's definitely the best time of the year to buy it. Even if you don't, please do use my link, which is pinned in the chat right now at the top of the chat, live chat. It's also in my description of this video. If you use it and then you use a trial for the next wee while, then you do get a discount at the end of the trial. Good knowledge for everybody. You should, if you're ever joining up, don't ever just pay for it on the day. Just take the trial and then, you know, let the trial run out and you'll get a discount again. So there's all that. So you should, and you get a free month obviously by using it. So there's all that. So just, you know, you do you, but when you do it on TradingView and join my Patreon and use my indicator and continue to do you using all your technical analysis, but do it amongst all the rest of you in the Discord as well, because we're a really fantastic community. Much love to you all. And back over here to the chat screen, so-called alleged chat screen, where actually is the chat though, because it's not showing up, damn it. No idea why it doesn't want to show up. Then move. Ah, that's why, because it wasn't on the screen. Ha! Wow. Hey, so there you are. Wee. Excellent stuff. Get your bye-byes in there, because I'm saying bye-bye. Thank you so much to the people for tuning in. This is a reverse roll call. I know the end of the shows, sometimes they get dragged out a bit. He's a madman. Katie, thanks. Tradespun, thanks. Stephen Kimbler, good to see you again. Matey, thanks. Rocky, another amazing show. You're amazing. Vic Vince, again. Homer, thanks so much. Jiu-Jitsu, Colin, thank you as well. Rody, good to see you, mate. Rody, bro, I'm a newbie to crypto. I want to invest some money into XRP. Is the best time to buy now? Let's just have a quick look and see if it's the best time to buy now. Oh, it's better to buy it now than it was back on the 5th of November. Give you that for nothing. It looks like a lot like the other crypto markets in a sense of what it's been doing recently. Unfortunately, nobody asked me to take a look at any crypto today. Oh, Jamie did. But that Cardano is slightly decorrelated to the rest of the market recently, having had, you know, its whole cycle of what it's been doing pushed off by 2 months. Here's a different one that's more in tune with what's going on right now. 39.09. I really need to see a bounce on this right now for it to start looking good, but it's not looking good. Oh, you can't see shit. In fact, that's fine because I'm tuning out anyway. Cool, excellent. So who else was in the reverse roll call? Frank, good to see you again. What difficult questions are you asking me today? Negative beta, man, whatever. Sorry, hedge funds, keep GME down if market goes down. Look, negative beta just means a negative correlation. Who cares, man? Who cares? The point I was making was really obvious at the time. I did brilliantly, yeah, it was fine. Cheechin stocks, cool. What did you say there? Atter about to run? Is it Atter? Let's see how hilariously shite this stock has been doing recently. Oh yeah, cool. We're coming right into our C point. It is about to run. If you'd watched my technical analysis at any point over the last, I don't know, couple of months, you'd have seen that. Well, you'd have got really good information on Atter. My God, there's been some crap information out there about Atter. And some really shit trades on it. Sorry, guys. It's true, though. Terribly, shockingly, horribly true for people. Sorry, but it's true. D. Harker, Banana Fridge, Tradespawn, thanks for tuning in. Merrick Sanders, thanks for tuning in. John G. Oh, there. Bad Mama Jama, Amber, Scarm, and Duo Maxwell. Ben, it's good to see you as well. Trading strategy is, what's that something like, what are you saying there? I'm trying to see, it's hard to see, just something about watch this show and print money. I don't know. I can't see the first line of what you said. All I can see is print money up there. And to me, it probably means watch this show and print money, which is what everybody has been doing over the last couple of years. Do share it with your friends. No point in being so greedy. I know this is the best kept secret on YouTube. It seems embarrassing how few people actually share it with their friends, and that like we're going to turn up one day with a big Lamborghini and be like, oh yeah, I did it all myself. Come on, guys. All right. Big fake one, is it? Is that what they're getting? Lamborghini tractors, maybe. You know them. Aye, yeah. Have you hit like yet? I'm here. It's pitch black, and you've not even hit like. Come on, it's pitch black though. Yeah.